again, I'm G and welcome to another video. For today's video, I'm going to discuss you the summary of Chapter 11 in Cisco Networking. But before it, let's go first to my NetAcad. Chapter 11 focuses on building a small network. So for the course index of this chapter, to know the topics under this chapter, let's go to its course index. For the introduction, there would be an introduction and a class activity for 11.0.1.2. For 11.1, network design, devices in a small network. Under it, we have small network topologies, device selection for a small network, IP addressing for a small network, redundancy in a small network, and the traffic management. For 11.1.2, we have small network applications and protocols. Under it, we have common applications, common protocols, voice and video applications. For 11.1.3, we have scale to larger networks. Under it, we have small network growth, protocol analysis, and employee network utilization. For 11.2, we have network security, 11.1.2.1 security threats and vulnerabilities. Under it, we have types of threats, physical security, types of vulnerabilities, and an activity which is security threats and vulnerabilities. For 11.2.2 network attacks, we have types of malware, reconnaissance attacks, access attacks, denial of service attacks, and we have the activity. For 11.2.3 network attack mitigation, network attack mitigation, backup, upgrade, update, and patch, authentication, authorization, and accounting, firewalls, endpoint security. Then next is device security. Under it, we have device security overview, passwords, basic security practices, enable SSH. Then next is basic network performance, the ping command, interpreting ping results, extended ping, network baseline, then the trace route and tracert command. Under it, we have interpreting trace messages, interpreting trace messages, extended trace route, and the activities. Then next is the trace route and trace route command. show commands, common show commands revisited, then host and iOS commands, the ipconfig command, the arp command, the show cdp neighbors command, the show IP interface label in brief command, then the activity. Next is debugging. Under it we have the debug command, then the ARP command, the show CDP neighbors command, the show IP, the terminal monitor command, then network troubleshooting methodologies, basic troubleshooting approaches, resolve or escalate, verify and monitor solution, then the activity, troubleshoot cables and interfaces, duplex operation, duplex mismatch, then troubleshooting scenarios, IP addressing issues on iOS devices, IP addressing issues on end devices, default gateway issues, troubleshooting DNS issues, then the lab and packet tracer activity. And then lastly, for its summary, we have the class activity, two packet tracer, then ang activity before you go, and its summary. Then for the introduction of this chapter, up to this point in the course, we have considered the services that a data network can provide to the human network, examined the features of each layer of the OSI model and the operations of TCP or IP protocols, and looked in detail of Ethernet, a universal LAN technology. The next step is to learn how to assemble these elements together in a functioning network that can be maintained. So let us now proceed to my PowerPoint presentation. This chapter began with an introduction to WAN technologies, including how they map to the lowest three layers of the OSI model. Different WAN concepts and connectivity techniques were also introduced, including point-to-point, circuit switched, and packet switch connections. A look at different carrier lines and speeds compared the differences between the T and E carrier systems used in North America and Europe respectively. Point-to-point or leased line connections were looked at next, including concepts and the configuration of both HDLC and PPP on Cisco routers. While HDLC is the default encapsulation used on synchronous serial interfaces on Cisco routers, PPP provides a standard method of encapsulating data over point-to-point links and includes the ability to configure additional features like mutual authentication using CHAP or PAP. ISDN was introduced next as a circuit switching technology that uses all digital links between locations. The configuration of both dedicated and demand dial ISDN connections were explored, as was a breakdown of ISDN services, protocols, equipment, reference points, and standards. This was followed by a detailed overview of frame relay, a popular packet switching technology used to interconnect locations using virtual circuits. This included a look This included a look at not only the frame relay communication process, but also the ways in which virtual circuits are identified, provisioned, and configured on Cisco routers. The configuration of frame relay for both production and lab environments was also discussed in this chapter. So this is the end of my PowerPoint presentation. Um, Thank you for watching and see you on my next video. Bye!